All right, guys, so I'm making a quick video. I just want to give you updates. We have CPI tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Definitely be careful. Tuesday morning, 8:30 a.m., it's saying that Wall Street expects an annual gain of 2.9% for headline CPI, and this includes the price of food and energy. And they're saying there was a noted decrease from the 3.4% headline number in December. So their prices are supposed to rise 0.2% on a month-to-month basis. And then they're saying on a core basis, stripping out the food and energy prices, inflation is expected to rise 3.7% year over year. So that means that a slowdown from the 3.9% increase to 0.3%. And they are expecting more core goods deflation this month. So we just have to make sure that this number comes in, because this is going to change where the market is going. Now, I just want to do a quick few big cap stocks, show you the key levels to look out for. This is what I'm watching for tomorrow and where I would take an entry if the price goes to that area. Let's take a look. All right, so let's take a look at Google. It's the first thing I want to show you. First big cap, Google is obviously riding this trend right here, as you can see. We'll zoom in. But tomorrow, if Google breaks 147, we are going to have some downturn. And you definitely need to be careful because Google has went up from 138 all the way up to 150. So we definitely have a potential chance here, if we break 147, to trend back down to this area around 142 to 143. So down 3% from there. And if it gets worse, you're looking at 140 flat. So I definitely be careful, but I think if you're going to try to day trade midday, I would be looking for the 143 as a potential, and your stop loss is going to be 142. Now let me just highlight it in a rectangle just to make it easier for the viewers. But you can see that there is clear support right here in this area. And I'm just going to change the color of it just to make it a little easier for everybody. But as you can see, this is where, if you zoom out, right over here, you had some support around 142.6. And then right here, there was resistance around 142.8 to 143.4. Here it is, some resistance, breaks through. So you can see right here, breaks through to 145, retests the 143, and then bounces to 150. So definitely keep an eye out for this zone. I definitely would watch this. This is something that I'll be watching for. I'll have my alert set. Google around 143 to 143.5, looking to make an entry if we get that 3% pullback from 148 down to 143. All right, next we have Aapl. This is an easy one to check out. Looking at the 6-month chart, the 1-year chart, you can see we are bouncing off this trend line. Where's our next area of support if we start to run into some problems? I'm going to get rid of this line to make it easier. Moving to the 5 days, you can see we're making new lows, 186.56 in the after hours. Moving to the 1 month, this is what we're looking at, 185. 185 is your level. I'm going to zoom out more so you can see. Check out this area right here. We'll make a rectangle. This is where I'm looking. And when I trade these, I like to buy when it finally gets to that level, and I buy the first time it hits that level. I'm not letting it show that it's going to, I'm going to buy at that level. So 184.4 to about 185 is where I'm looking to make my entry. Let me make it red again just to make it easier for the viewers. You can see here we had some consolidation, resistance. As you can see, it's bouncing off here, fails through. And that area is at 185. And then now support again right here, as you can see. If you're going to move it probably right down here. And then here it comes, potentially testing this area. So I'm going to be a buyer of Aapl tomorrow. If we can get to the 184.5, 185, I'm not going to hesitate. These are going to be scalp trades. They're going to be intraday short-term trades. I'm not holding it for long-term. This is a day trade, but definitely looking for that potential move back. Like we spoke with Googl, needs to come back at least 3%. Aapl, if it moves back into this area, that's going to be about a 1 to a 1.5% red move. and then looking for the bounce from there. So that's what I'm looking at with Aapl. Last but not least, I just want to go into Tesla. Tesla's very volatile, and remember that Tesla made this move from 177 all the way up to 195. So we can expect a healthy pullback here. Hopefully we get some red. And where do you think I'm looking on this chart? Look right here, 183 is where I am looking at a potential move on Tesla. As you can see here, we have clear support and resistance right here. Now, if we get lucky and we don't go in Tesla and we get it lower, it's even better. But it was testing support here, went all the way down to 180, down to 182, 183, and then bounced right here at 183 to be exact. And then you have more support right here. And then once it consolidated, a retest, consolidated, and then it started bouncing from here. So I'm looking to make an entry at 183. I want to see Tesla pull back just a little bit more. Hopefully we get that tomorrow before 8:30. Pull back to here, 2%, and then we make our move back up. So that's what I'm looking at for that big cap. All right, last but not least, we're going to talk about Nvda. Nvda is something that I am staying away from if I'm in a long position with a 10-foot pole, because just look at the run up over the last year. I mean, it went up from 204 all the way up to 750. That's a 260% gain if you look on the bottom left of the screen. That's incredible. Kudos to you if you were holding it. That's awesome. But I don't want to be a bag holder up here. I'm not willing to even trade this stock. The only thing I'm willing to do is to short this thing. So if I'm going to buy, I'm going to buy weekly or bi-weekly puts on this, and I'm going to do a small amount, $1,000 maybe, and try to get 50% gains on it. I think Nvda has room to go more. It is so bullish. It's got its earnings coming up. You definitely have to be careful here. But in the last 5 days, it went from 663 all the way up to 746. Just that move alone was a 12% move up. 12%. So Nvda, if we're going to make a move on this and we're going to try long, which I'm not going to do, I'm going to be looking at the 700s. 700 rebound. Let's see if Nvda can hold it, make that move back down, come down to 700, 3%, and then make its move back up. But there's definitely momentum potentially here with Nvda. So I definitely would be careful if you're going to be shorting it. If I'm going to short it, I'm looking for pops. I want to get back up to 735 and then start shorting it back down. That's what I'm looking for. But just be aware, you got CPI 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. That's super important before you're going to trade.